Let us move into the APIs page. That's the next section. And again, I like to briefly discuss the information that you see in this table. And I'm not going to show you all the different columns. I'm just going to talk about some of them, right? The very first thing I like to discuss with you is what is the meaning? What do we mean when we say API? Or how, better said, how do we identify APIs in the no-name platform, right? That will be better said. In the no-name platform and in security at large, an API is the unique tuple of host name, and the host name may include a port, right? All the ports that you see right here, you don't see any port because it's the port 80 and port 443. These are the default ports for HTTP and HTTPS, right? So host, which may include port, the path, and the method. So it's a unique tuple of a host, a path, and a method. I will tell you right now that this is not what an API, this is not usually what an API contains, right? From a developer's perspective, okay, so there's two different perspectives. You have the developer's perspective and you have the no-name security or the security professional's perspective, right? So from a security perspective, this unique tuple, host, port, path, method. From a developer's perspective, an API is a set of operations, a set of related operations that are there to operate over or manage the same set of data or manage a business process. That's what an API is. Okay. So even though the no-name platform has discovered 11 different APIs, I can tell you right now you only have 3 APIs from a developer's perspective. Okay. And if you're wondering how do I know that, well, you're in the very unique scenario where your instructor happens to be number 1, the instructor, number 2, the developer of these APIs, number 3, the no-name security operator, number 4, the hacker. Right? So I do have full visibility in everything you see in this specific no-name platform instance. Okay, so I know every nook and cranny, as they say. So the APIs are the flights API, right? 1, 2, 3. Every time you see flights, that's the flights API. You have the user management API, application registration and application login. And then you have the frequent flyer members API, member string, members, member string gift. And again, the other thing I'd like to mention to you is that the actual domain all these APIs are operating under is an airline, right? Could be a ticketing system, it could be an airline, anything related to an airline. That's why they're named the way they are, right? And this is a very a huge benefit of RESTful APIs. RESTful APIs, all the names that you see right here, they have meaning. They have a semantic meaning, right? And I know it's semantic meaning, they're synonyms, but still, right? It's a very accurate description in this case. Okay, so that's the very first thing I want to mention. The second thing I'd like to mention is the concept of clustering. Clustering. Okay, you will see some of these APIs. For example, this member string gift. You will see member string. You will see flight number. Okay, you will see all these different APIs. Every time you see this angle bracket with some kind of a typing information within it, this is indicative that the no-name platform has discovered a lot of different, and when I say a lot, it could be in the hundreds, it could be in the thousands, right? A lot of different values being represented right here with this angle bracket type. Okay, and for example, for the flights, we have all kind of different numbers. For the members, we have all kind of different strings. Okay, that's what the no-name platform has discovered. Okay, in the developer's lingo, this clustering is called a path parameter, right? And for example, let me give you, how can I get the details of a specific frequent flyer member? Well, you can do it by using the get method, and then the path will be members and the member ID, right? Give me the details of the member identified with this member ID, right? So that's how you interpret this type of path, this type of API, in order to gain more insight in what the API is all about, right? So if the no-name platform discovers hundreds or thousands of such instances, guess what? It's going to identify that this is a path parameter, is going to cluster it for the purposes of displaying the information in the no-name platform under the APIs, under inventory. Okay? And that's a huge benefit. That's a huge benefit for every single customer of the no-name platform, every single user of the no-name platform. Why? Number one, presents the APIs in an organized manner. Number two, the way the no-name platform licenses work, that means how much money you pay the no-name security, right? Is by the number of APIs that the no-name platform has discovered, or at least that's one of the parameters that calculate licenses costs. Okay, so the fewer APIs you have, the cheaper the license. Not only that, again, it presents them in a more accurate manner, so that the meaning is correct. Okay, so that's the other thing, clustering. Now, the most common clustering is this path clustering. You have no control over. The user does not have any control over clustering. Okay, over path clustering to be accurate. Okay, no control. It's done automatically by the no-name platform. There's a couple of more types of clustering that can happen. It's on the host name, right? Clustering can take place on the host name, right? You have no control over it. No control over it, right? If we see something if you see something on the APIs that requires clustering, you're gonna have to talk to us, and we're gonna perform quote unquote surgery, and we're gonna get it done. Okay. And the next thing that can be clustered is cookies, cookie names to be exact, cookie names. Very often inside cookie names, we actually store values, right? So if we see a lot of values changing, well, we can also cluster the cookies so it's easily presentable to you in a more human readable manner. Okay, that's it. Um, cool. The last thing I'm going to mention to you is this learning column. See the learning column? Discover whether no name is learning this API and establishing a baseline to determine the API's information. This is what I was explaining earlier on, right? Do we have enough that we can claim we have learned what normal behavior is? Have you seen enough traffic? Have we seen enough users? That's what this learning means. And if you pay attention, for every single one of the APIs except for this post acmeairline.com, for every other API, the learning has completed with the exception of this. And if I hover over it, now you're going to see a pop-up in order to see which requirements are yet to be satisfied, right? Which requirements are yet to be satisfied. Now you will see some weird numbers here, right? So what is the amount of time and what is the number of users, right? You will see it says like 0.003472222 days, right? That's 5 minutes. I'm going to tell you right now. Again, these are training environments. I do not have the luxury of time to spend in learning. So I have massaged, or I have configured these training instances so that learning can complete a lot sooner, right? So that learning can complete a lot sooner. So my learning parameters is 5 minutes and 10 users. The production grade learning parameters is 7 days and 1,000 users. 7 days and 1,000 users. Okay, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. The last thing I'm going to mention is that this value is a ballpark value. The values that you see right here is a ballpark value. Okay. You may still not have satisfied learning, but you may still have incidents, as you see right here. Okay. So this is a ballpark value. For some of the incident types, you may have satisfied the learning parameters. For other incident types, you may not. For more details on this behavior, there's a separate class, another 2 hours, called NS202 Incidents and Findings, where we discuss how this learning takes place. Okay? Out of scope for this particular class. All right. Um, and finally, keep this risk factor, right? Keep this risk factor. This number, I'm going to show you the details in due course, right? But this number evaluates what is the probability, or signifies, denotes what is the probability that your API will be hacked, and what will be its impact of your API being hacked, of course, right? So it's a combination of two numbers: the probability of being hacked and what would be the impact if your API gets hacked. Okay. In order to understand these number, we're going to have to go under configuration, right? But keep it in mind. Keep it in mind, because it is good to have it readily available in your mind when we revisit that section. Okay. So this is it. And with this, my good people, we have concluded this section of the course. Talk to you in the next.